Hey, welcome. This is Darkener, aka Cardell. This is kind of the video supplemental to Clerics Corner issue number 1. In that issue, if you haven't read it yet, it's a very brief overview of the healing abilities of the Clerics and what each tree does, and the 3 main heals that you get. So, just want to start off by going over the 3 trees. The 3 trees that you get, you pick whatever you want, but these are the ones that I feel are really good for main healers. The 2 main trees that you're going to use are the Sentinel and the Warden trees, and I find that Purifier is a really nice support tree, even just for the first tier of the abilities. So let's start with Purifier, since that is the support one. The first 2 abilities, the first one is a critical hit, and the next one is a wisdom increase. So both very nice, especially for a direct healing class. So definitely a plus for those ones. The further up you go, it becomes more of a PvP thing, damage reduction, that kind of stuff. If everything goes good, you're not going to be pulling aggro. So the other nice thing is the Warden class. The Warden class is your heal over time. So for those who aren't used to MMOs, heal over time is over a certain amount of time, a heal will tick on that person and heal them for a certain amount over that span. So that's why it's called a heal over a time. So when you cast these heal over times, they're usually instant cast. And they let you focus on doing other things and not having to worry too much about, is that person getting a heal or not. You know they have one. So the wardens, the heal over time that I basically use all the time is healing spray. Healing spray does a 12-second heal over time. That's actually a fair decent amount of healing. It works out really good in situations where 2 melee and the tank are standing in there, and the melee is dumb and they stand in fire, or they stand in front instead of to the side or behind, and they get hit with a cleave every now and then. So rather than wasting a direct heal on those melee because they're being dumb, you can put a heal over time on them, so that when they do get hit, that heal is rolling and it just ticks and keeps them up to full health. So that's kind of the general usage of heal over time. The other ability is, or the other soul tree is the Sentinel tree. Now the Sentinel tree, kind of, you split it into 2. Quickly, I want to point out this kind of quote unquote third side of it, which is only 2 real points that you can do in here, and that is Luminous Gaze, and it's a little buff that it gets intensity. So Luminous Gaze, basically, you're gonna put this on whatever you're attacking. And the main reason is that essentially it's a mana regen, and it's not something that it increases your wisdom or whatever. Basically, it helps the chance that they're going to get crit, so that thing dies faster and you can move on to the next thing. So you don't have to spend as much time casting on stuff. That's how it's a mana regen. It just makes stuff go a lot faster. And then this buff just increases the amount of critical strike chance against them. So just keep those in mind. I like to keep it just because it is actually quite useful. So the main 2 sides to the Sentinels is an AOE and the direct heal side of it. So the AOE, which is an area of effect, in Rift, the way it works is you cast the heal on someone, and then around that person in a certain distance, an X number of people get healed as well. So that is the way the AoE heals work in Rift. The AoE heal is actually Healing Communion, and I can't stress this enough, it is a situational heal. I've rarely used it, so I don't really lean towards, I don't even take the talents to improve it. It's not really, it's a big heal, but a huge mana cost. It's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. Like 100, in this case, 157 mana at level 24 and 154 to 159 health over 2 seconds, a 2-second cast. But it does up to 10 people. So yeah, if you're in a big group, that's the situation you would use it. If everyone takes a whole bunch of damage at once, you can do a big heal on everyone. So situational, use it very sparingly. The test I did, I think I cast it 8 times and I was out of mana. So yeah, very, very dangerous spell. So on to the main kind of focus of these things, and the reason why I love the cleric healing class. The Sentinel tree gives you 2 kind of direct heals, just right out of the box. The first one is your healing breath. It's an instant heal, but it's got an 8-second cooldown. So this is one of those, oh my god, so much damage, have to heal it quick spells. The tank gets hit, maybe he gets, maybe, I don't know, 3 things hit him at once before they're CC'd. So he takes a huge amount of damage right off the bat. And you don't have time to cast that 2-second cast while he's getting hit. So you cast this first, it pops him up in health, and then as you're casting, he takes a little bit more damage from the boss or whatever, and then your heal goes off and it heals him almost to full. It's kind of a lifesaver emergency heal, hence the term. The other one that you're going to use all the time is Healing Grace. Now, Healing Grace beats everything. It's like the trump card. And I'll go over this basically in a lot of detail, but it's a really quick detail. So, Healing Grace is a 31 mana, 2-second cast, and it does 216 to 221 health. So, regardless of how much it heals, it only costs 37 mana over 2 seconds. So, rounded off, 15 mana per second is what that actually costs. So, let's put the talent trees away and let's look at the wisdom. So, right now, my wisdom is 124, and it says increases my mana regen by 76.5 for every 10 seconds. So that's about 7. We'll round it off again. We'll round it off to 7 mana per second. So of that heal that cost me 15, it actually only costs me 8. So an 8 mana heal that's really, really good is just awesome. Like, you can spam that thing through an entire encounter. You can cast it on anyone you want all the time, and I pretty much guarantee you that unless something happens where everybody takes a massive amount of damage and you have to cast like an AOE heal, you will not run out of mana as long as everyone does their job and the thing doesn't take like an hour to kill. So very, very nice spell, a nice heal. The abilities in the trees, I went over the purifier ones because they were fast. The wardens, the first tier, I would basically pick Aquatic Affinity. Maximum mana by 10%, just gives you a bigger mana pool. Who doesn't want that? Now the other one is the Destructive Tide, which is your instant cast damage spell increase. Like, I don't cast instant damage spells when I'm healing, so I didn't take it. I do want to point out 2 really, really nice talents that are up at the top, or on the 3rd tier here. I will be getting these, but the first one is Ebb and Flow. So Ebb and Flow is basically a wisdom buff. It'll stack 5 times for 15 seconds every time you heal. So if you're spamming healing, you're almost guaranteed 5% almost constantly. So it's only a 20% chance when you put the first point into it, but it's really nice to have that. So I definitely would consider that heavily, getting that talent. The other one is this. Now, out of the tooltip does not spring knowledge. It's worded very strange, and I want them to clarify what it actually does, because I might be interpreting it wrong the way it actually works. So I'll read you the tooltip in case you can't read it. So it says, when you are critically hit, you heal 30% of your wisdom over 12 seconds. So healing your wisdom, to me, means you get a buff. So you get a 30% wisdom buff for 12 seconds. So they need to say when you are critically hit, you gain 30% wisdom buff over 12 seconds. I think that's what they need. So, but anyways, and as you put points into that percentage goes up. So, really nice. If that's what it does, it's great. Who doesn't want wisdom? I mean, you'd just be able to, at that point, you could technically cast AOE heals, especially if it procs a lot. I mean, that's just cool. All right, so on to the Sentinel. So there's kind of I want to say, well, we'll say three really important ones. The other one is kind of okay, but you have to wait till later on. So the first one that you're gonna get is the Benediction. Increases the effectiveness of your heals by 5%. That's just a no-brainer. You gotta have that. The second one is reduces the mana cost of your healing spells, like concentration. Very useful, especially if you're going to be spamming. I mean, 10% less mana cost is just perfect. The third one that I got, now I didn't take it right off the bat here because I was testing some other stuff with this build, so but this is the one that I take first, and this is Walk in the Light. So it increases the effectiveness of your critical heals. At this point, I was building my gear to see what it's like without having this talent and how well it works. And you don't have to take a whole bunch, but I've been filling it in as I go. So definitely worthwhile. Now the other one that is kind of, you don't get it till later, is this one, is Enraptured Breath. If you take those other points, that is. Basically, when you heal someone, two people near them within 15 meters, which is the same radius as an AoE heal, will get 60% of that heal. So it's kind of a direct heal and an AoE heal in one. If you're doing your Healing Grace, that's great. If it heals for 100, that means they get 60. That's better than a tick. It's really nice. So anyways, that's kind of the general overview of the cleric trees. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the ZAM forums. I'm on there as Cardal. You can ask anything you want. If you want something in a video, I'll try and cover it here. If you can't get into the forums for whatever reason, pop into the IRC channel on Alakazam. We're in the IRC room there. Rift. And I'm in there as Cardal. You can send me a message. I'm usually in there, so I will probably catch your message. If I don't, just send me a message.